This video will go over validation bias in FUDSChem, including where to see how bias will be applied and how to adjust it. Bias is programmed into FUDSChem's automated data review process. At the beginning of your project, you can reference a couple of reports to see how bias will be applied. First, go to Reports, FUDSChem Worksheets, Worksheet 36. Select the project and the validation code. Choose a validation procedure, such as DoD guidelines. Include bias will be automatically set to true. Click View Report. This worksheet documents the validation procedures to be used for the project, including the flags and biases associated with each QC element. For more information on this report, please refer to our FUDSChem Worksheets overview video, linked in the description. Let's look at the next report. Go to Reports, Environmental Setup Reports, QC Elements Qualifier Scheme. Choose the project and methods. Change the Include Bias option to True. Click View Report. This report shows the QC elements, validation flags, and biases associated with each method. We go into more detail in our Environmental Setup Reports Overview Part 1 video, linked in the description. The flags found here are adjusted in the FUDSChem Setup tool. Let's go there now. Go to Tools, Data, FUDSChem Setup. Go to the QC Elements tab. This tab shows the QC elements, validation flags, and biases associated with each method. We can adjust the flags and biases here as needed. For more information, please refer to our FUDSChem QC Elements tab tutorial video, linked in the description. Let's skip ahead in the process. Once the lab certifies their SED file, the ADR starts assessing the data based on the FUDSChem setup. At the end of processing, the ADR reviews the outliers and determines the final bias. For example, if an element has both negative and positive biases, they cancel each other out and no bias is assigned. We go into more detail in our How Does ADR Work videos, linked in the description. Once the ADR has finished processing, the validator can adjust biases under Tools, Data, Sample Qualification. The grid displays the data for the selected project, SDG, and method. The Val Bias column shows the bias assigned by the ADR. There are three options for editing bias. First, Apply Qualifiers by Batch can be used to add or adjust qualifiers and biases for an entire batch at once. Next, Apply Qualifiers with Outlier can be used to create an outlier record with or without a bias. Lastly, we can use Edit All to edit various fields by hand, including bias. We go into more detail in our Validation Tutorial Data Sample Qualification video, linked in the description. Under Reports, Data Validation and Submission Reports, we'll find a few validation reports that include bias. For example, validators can use the Validator Detail Report to view a summary of qualifiers applied by the ADR. It includes a list of qualified results and the corresponding biases. Once the validator has finalized the qualifiers, they can download the Data Validation Report and use it as their final validation report. It also includes a list of qualified results and biases. We go into more detail in our Validation Tutorial Data Review Checklist video, linked in the description. Once the validation has been approved by the core, the data will become available in final reports. Note that bias is not intended to be displayed in final chemistry reports. At this point, the Data Usability Assessment, DUA, will take place, where the PDT will determine final qualifiers. We'll take a look under Tools, Data, Usability Assessment. The DUA tool includes a sample qualification tab, where users can update qualifiers and biases, among other things. We go into more detail in our Data Usability Assessment video, linked in the description. Don't forget to subscribe to the FUDSChem YouTube channel for more tutorial videos. All of the tutorials and playlists mentioned during this video are linked in the description below. Lastly, if you have questions or comments, feel free to contact us at fuds.support@synectics.net. Thank you.